Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Hopefully everyone's doing okay on this amazing night. And again, here's another night of Ramadan. Hopefully you're staying up, you're doing your dua, and you're doing what you need to do in terms of getting yourself to the next stage. Ultimately, guys, what I wanted to do tonight is there's a mixture of things that I'm doing, and forgive me again for just kind of jumping back and forth, but I'm just kind of seeing what's being like needed at the highest level in terms of the way I'm organizing things. And so if we shift here a little bit, it's okay, but just bear with me. I'm trying to make it connect to all aspects down the line. So overall, guys, we've gone through a lot of material. There's so much. I have people who are messaging me, asking me like for past presentations. I'm grateful for that. Like if you can really go through this series, and it's just the reason why I put it through PowerPoint is because just so you could retain the information, it's right in front of you. Please, if you can, let's just follow through. And if you know someone who needs this stuff, gear them towards that. So alhamdulillah, I'm grateful for all the responses. I'm just for all your messages. I'm so thankful. Please keep us in your dua. We need it just like everyone else, and probably even need it more because we really put ourselves on the line in terms of what we do as well. And it's alhamdulillah, the weight is beautiful, and hopefully Allah gives us the strength to be able to handle it. Again, I'm grateful to be doing this for you guys on a nightly level, and thank you for following along, and thank you for your time. So let's begin again the right way. And A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursaleen. Abul Qasim Muhammad wa ala ali baytihi at-tayyibin at-tahirin. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. I wanted to give you a different book today for those who were like entrepreneuric. They want to kind of take themselves on a business level. This book is amazing, but you got to read it and know how to read it because it has some philosophy that you really need to kind of be aware of. So I recommend actually reading it with a mentor or a friend or someone who can guide you, because it's got some ideas, but they can kind of spin you a little bit in terms of just the ideas are a little heavy, So if you feel like your identity is not really intact, be careful with some of these books, because the ideas are great. You just got to know how to filter through the concepts and just be able to grasp the right ideas and the way they're presented. Be careful with some of the content. But I think it's a great book, and this is one of the books of like really, really amazing. And we're not talking about just physical richness from money to these kinds of things. There's a spiritual richness you got to attain. There's a relationship richness that you got to attain. The spirituality richness. And these are the main things. This book doesn't talk about that, but you can relate the ideas. It really talks about how to grow as a person and develop yourself, and how to really think about certain concepts. The book is an all-time bestseller, and it's just a great book in terms of having in your library. So that's another one for tonight. So guys, tonight I wanted to talk about the 7 levels of spirituality. So a couple nights ago, I talked about the 4 levels of establishing prayer. And I may even do another one on that down the line, because I just received a lot of great feedback on that one. So tonight, the 7 levels of spirituality. This is how we can ascend, and us getting closer to Allah is through khushu'. So khushu' is ultimately the presence where your heart is emotionally tranquil. So in the Quran it says, Allah is like a light that is ignited in your heart, and when that happens, you as a person start to feel certain aspects that are just not, I'm telling you, they're not out of this world. And spirituality is to ascend towards that. Allah Azza wa Jal always is bringing you closer to him. He's always in that aspect of, no matter if you get something or you don't get something, it's really for you, because he ultimately understands what is happening within you as a person, and what is the best aspect, what is the highest aspect, what is the highest form for you. So now, in terms of that, once we start moving towards these 7 levels, I really want you to think about this in your salah as you are ascending, or as soon as you say Allahu Akbar. Okay, Allahu Akbar, Allah is the greatest. Right there, understand you just entered a different realm, where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when it's time for prayer, he would say, Arihna ya Bilal. So give us ease, O Bilal. It's the ease of the heart to leave the world. You just entered a different space. Where do you go in that space? Does your heart still connect to the world, or do you really leave this world? There's a difference. So ultimately, when you are in that pain and you are in that pressure, and the world has done everything awful to you, do you have a corner in your mind where you can go and you submit in the middle of the night and you say to yourself, oh Allah, I'm here in front of you and I don't know what to do. Allah, I've gotten myself in trouble. I'm depressed beyond belief. I don't want to live anymore. It feels like it's too hard to live. Some of us are like that. And when I have lectures about, depression and stuff like that, almost all the time I have people crying in the audience and I see them. And that's really like heartbreaking, because it's another human being who is really struggling at the highest level. And to me, like that pain is incredible, but they can't get themselves out. And I've dealt with a lot of people like that. So really what I would tell you, if you want to get out of the ultimate depression and the ultimate factors, this is the way to do it. Now, I'm electrostatic, like there's right now what's happening is electrostatic, pods are being inserted into the brain to deal with severe depression, and is actually showing to work. Why? Because they're actually stimulating certain neurons in the brain. And it's incredible once you start to stimulate certain neurons that fire, that were ultimately inhibited and they don't fire anymore. They're actually dealing with depression and they actually gain happy thoughts. This is amazing in terms of just the neuroscience aspect of it and what's happening. But understand, you can willfully fire those neurons. And I want you to think about your brain just for a second. So in your cerebellum, which is the back of your brain, it has about 7 billion neurons just in that small space. 7 billion, or I'm sorry, 70 billion, 70, not 7, 70 billion neurons. And each neuron, each one of those has 1,000 connections, which creates 1,000 synapses between one neuron, just one cell. Neurons are highly specified cells. So, and certain amount of cells fire and they stop a thought from happening. And another amount of cells fire and they actually exhibit and they actually allow the cell to fire. So it's like a battle in your brain, a positive thought or a negative thought. And you can spiral out of control just by your thought process. And then your physiology takes that over and you just go to higher forms of depression. Where do you go when you're in those stages? I'm telling you, and this is personal, this is tried in many different ways. And I'm not telling you not to seek help. Psychology has made tremendous leaps and bounds, and especially the neural level in terms of now the way we understand the brain, just to understand how the chemical imbalances are working within the brain. So I'm not telling you that psychiatry is not the way to go. For some people it is, because there's severe depression and some people can't control themselves. They get themselves very in deep trouble. But I'm also telling you, this is the ultimate cure in terms of understanding. Once you get a really good base of who you are, this is your magic pill. This is what will take you to another level. And you gotta understand that as a person. You gotta believe that in your heart. Now, you're about to walking up to your prayer. In the Quran, it says, and those who come to prayer lazy, heart is not there. It's not present. And I want you to realize that there's a lot to that. And the first condition, and I'm going to take you through these, I'm going to take you condition by condition, and also just getting yourself to the right state. So we're about to walk up, and let's say we are energized, we have that aspect. It's incredible. It's incredible when that happens, and then you're ready to go into prayer. You're ready to enter the zone. You're ready to meet Allah. I'm going to show you what Imam Hassan alayhi salam a little bit later says when he's about to enter prayer, or he's about to enter a mosque, and what he says. All right, so let's go through these. Number one, okay, hudurul qalb. It's the presence of heart. So the person's heart is actually engaged. Now, what is it going to take for the tongue, the mind, and the heart to actually be engaged? That's what you should be really worrying about, is when you understand that the heart needs to be engaged. It's not just about what you're saying. It's not a physical, mechanical prayer. Prayer is not set up in the movements. It's not. The movements and the positions signify a lot. So when you go into ruku', I'll give you an example. When you go into ruku' and you put your head, you're supposed to extend your neck out as far as possible. Why? Because you're telling Allah, my neck is in your hands. Everything's in your hands. And Imam Sadiq alayhi salam says that when he would be in prayer, there's a hadith that's written, when he would be in prayer, that if a drop of water was to drop on his back, it wouldn't move at all, because he would be so straight in his prayer. Now that's for men, not for women. Women are supposed to actually be a little bit further up. So on that level, that's how he would be. And he would be like a perfect L in terms of his shape. And these things, they're so significant to mastering your prayer and getting it to another level. But ultimately, that presence of heart is a mental and an emotional focus. I'm not just verbally saying things. The positions are great and they're incredible, but they're not everything. And we're going to see what Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says about that a little bit later. So now, in this, is your tongue, heart, and mind connected? Like we just said, are you connected in terms of these kinds of things? When you say, when you speak, okay, is that connected to your mind? And is that connected to your heart? Are all three in sync? If they are in sync, then good for you. You established something. You've gotten yourself there. You're going to the right corner in your mind. That's the way it works. Now, number two, when you start praying, we lose focus mentally and emotionally. Most of us, when we start praying and we say Allahu Akbar, that's a sign for our heart, for our mind to just travel. It just goes. And some of us, and I know, guys, I'm not saying that this is easy to do. I'm not telling you, but we need to try. Try. And I'll give you a mechanism to do that when you lose focus. If you start thinking about the chairs you just bought today, or the TV you're going to buy tomorrow, or you're picking up your kid, or whatever it is, say to yourself, bring it back to Allah. Connect that thought. Say, Alhamdulillah, Ya Allah, you've given me the opportunity to buy chairs. Alhamdulillah, Ya Allah, that you've given me kids, and I have transportation to go pick them up. So connect the thought back to Allah. Connect whatever the thought is and you trail off, connect it back to Allah. Say Alhamdulillah in your prayer and regain that. So regain the connection. Remember I said before, and I said the past lectures, the navigation system is in your heart. It's there. It's in your heart. And that heart needs to be connected to Allah. Once you connect to Allah, وَأَقِمِ الصَّلَاةَ إِنَّ الصَّلَاةَ تَنْهَى عَنِ الْفَحْشَاءِ وَالْمُنكَرِ, or أَقِمِ الصَّلَاةَ وَأَقِمِ الصَّلَاةَ وَأَقِمِ الصَّلَاةَ لِذِكْرِي. So establish prayer so you may remember me. It becomes easier to become God conscious because you're training yourself. Just like you train an animal, you train something, same thing. Your heart needs to be tamed and trained to connect to the right things. And that's incredible when you do that right. Okay. So to lose focus, always connect it back. That's okay. True prayer is what happens in the heart, like we just said, in terms of connecting that in your own being. So when that connection happens and you connect to Allah, and then your head hits the floor, your forehead hits the floor, that sensation of ascension, of submission to Allah is incredible. These are the things and the stages you want to get to in your prayer. Now, the Prophet ﷺ, he was talking to Abu Dhar. Abu Dhar was one of the companions and was one of the highest companions. He says, "Oh, Abu Dhar, when you come to prayer, when it comes to prayer, come with the presence of heart." Okay, so come with your heart ready. You're about to enter, you're about to meet Allah. So imagine when you're about to go meet for a job interview, or so, imagine the excitement you feel, the fear, all these kinds of, think about your meeting with Allah the same way. Like, but do you know who you're gonna get in front of? This is the ultimate being, the absolute being. Okay, now, so he says, prayer may be accepted 50%, 33%, a third is 32. So he says 33%, 25, ربعها, 25%, 10% of it. And listen to this. Okay, so these are degrees of the acceptance of prayer. Okay, so guys, what prayer does is this. Before I want to give you this fact. What prayer does is when you pray and it's accepted, it gets you out of hellfire. So it puts you in the first position and where now you've made it to heaven. It just pulls you out of hellfire. That's what happens. From there, the second level is now when you do the mustahabats and you stay away from the makruh. This is how you ascend further to Allah. So that's how, but prayer is like your mechanism. It's your protective mechanism. Protect your prayer and watch what happens. What Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he says a little bit later, is he says, listen to this. And he says some prayers, so some of our prayers, and I would tell you after this, I'm going to talk about congregation just a little bit and why it's so important to pray in congregation. Okay. And some people's prayers, maybe it's my prayers, your prayers. Really think about this. It's like a rolled up blanket that's going to be rolled up and the person's hit across the face with it. That's how despicable that prayer is. So really think about that. You as a person, would you want to face Allah with that kind of prayer? That you just took it for granted. You didn't really care for it. Okay, now watch this. Prayer on the day of judgment, will come to you, your own prayer. And it will come to the worshiper on the day of judgment and say to its owner, listen to this. It will say to you, your own prayers, the ones that you just do on a daily level, it will come to you. It will bear witness and listen to what it will say to you. It says, ضيعتني, ضيعك Allah. You've lost me. May Allah lose you today. Think about that. Something that you think it's just 2 minutes or 5 minutes. That's going to come and that's going to talk to you and it's going to be in your face and it's going to say to you, you've lost me. May Allah lose you today. Look at how heavy that is. We don't give our salah significance, guys. We don't do that. We actually make it the last priority. And I'm guilty of it just like everyone else. So if you are tonight, like struggling with it, just try 1 or 2 days. Wake up in the morning, or if you can, do nafilatul layl. Go to Allah in the middle of the night and just sit. Don't even pray. Just talk to Him. Just say, Ya Allah, I'm here and I don't know what to do. Help me in terms of what's going on in my life. And I guarantee you, just talk with a bare heart. Be bare, be open completely. Just let everything come out of your heart and watch what happens. And if you can get your tears to run down your face, those are the trails of happiness, I guarantee you, because it's a cleansing, it's an internal cleansing. So hudur al-qalb is number one, okay? Number two, guys, like I've talked about this a little bit before, and it's at-tafahum. The-tafahum is really focusing this to this. That Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, he says, this is one of the layers of that perfection, of not perfection, I'm sorry, of getting your salah to go to higher levels, is understanding what you say. So do you understand what you are saying? Do you really think to yourself, okay, you know what? Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Do you know what Rahman means and ar-Rahim means? Okay. Look at Surah Al-Fatiha. What does it mean? Okay. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Allah says, repeats twice. Okay. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Maliki yawmiddin. Allah's reminded us back to the day of judgment, is bringing you back. Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim. Show me the true path. Ya Allah, I'm lost. My heart's lost. My navigation is off. Guide my heart. Sirat alladhina an'amta alayhim. Okay, who are these people that these are the people I'm supposed to follow? This path. Show us the path of those who what? Who are truthful, who are on the right path, who know what's. Who are these people? Ask yourself these questions. Who are these people? Okay, there are certain people then that Allah has given. Okay, Sirat alladhina an'amta alayhim, which you have given. غَيْرِ الْمَغْضُوبِ عَلَيْهِمْ. And there are people who have what? That you're not happy with. Okay, and who are these people? So find out right there. Allah has given a separation. Now, which one, literally, which one do you want to go to? It's obvious, but can our heart do that? Okay, وَلَا الضَّالِينَ, and those who have gone astray. And guys, this is what I fear I'm in what stage. I don't want to ever be in that stage, but that's my fear. الضَّالِينَ, I may think I'm doing the right things, but I don't know. I don't know, and I need to reach that certainty of knowing. So on that level, understand the Fatiha and what it means. And I'm going to give you a little bit about what that means. Imam Ali alayhi salam, listen to this. Okay, you say this on a daily level, but do you really think about its meaning? I'm not going to give you any more on this because you need to search on your own, and especially in these nights. So please, for the next 2-3 nights, search for yourself. Ayatul Fatiha. Okay, what does it mean? Listen to what Imam Ali alayhi salam says. He says the weight of Surah Al-Fatiha is equal to the whole Quran. Ayatul Fatiha is equal to the whole Quran. Think about that. And you say this with what? Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. We just say it. But do we realize what we are saying? If you understand the weight of those words and you inject yourself with those words into your heart, man, what happens to you? If you understand their true meaning and then you inject them into your heart, that's a sanctuary that you can enter willingly. So at-tafahum is number 2. That's another stage of khushu'. Number 3 is greatness, at-ta'zeem, ta'zeemullah. So to understand having the right attitude towards Allah that we are worshiping. Now, guys, please understand this. At-ta'zeem is just when you say Allahu Akbar, ask yourself, who am I compared to Allah? I'm His creation. And imagine you come out of sujood. And when you come out of sujood, you're like, you're my creator. You created me. Forget about your mother and your father just for a second, which He has given you as well. But you created me. You made me. Like, how much do I owe you in terms of that? Really think about these things. and think about who Allah is and who you are. Now, do I understand Allah's greatness? Obviously. Let's go to Imam Huseini alayhi salam in Dua Arafah to teach us how to talk to Allah. Look at what he says in the dua. And he says, I'm the one who's made mistakes. I'm the one who's sinned. I'm the one who became heedless. I'm the one who's ignorant. And you, then he switches. And he says, and you're the one who's what? And you are the enricher, and you are the giver, and you are the forgiver. And you saw me, and you are the one who saw me diving into sin, and you forgave me. This is the way to Allah, but that's the way to your own heart. These words are keys to unlock certain neurons that fire in your brain, that create certain hormonal streams, that when they connect to your heart and the richness that you feel, you don't need anything from this world. You've gotten the treasures of it, but the treasures of it are inside of you. Wire those neurons. A neuron can hold a thought. That thought of Allah's name, Imam Ali's name, Rasulullah's name, Al-Hasan, Al-Husein, Fatima, Zainab alayhim salam. Imagine those cells in your brain and how much they're worth. Imagine you've programmed them, but imagine this, that they're connected to hormonal streams in your body, that when you hear the name, Ya Allah, your heart shivers and it moves and it palpitates differently. Allah has set that for you in your own heart. It's there. You just have to find the wiring and you have to program yourself. Once you have that, it's incredible. And you can start speaking like this. When you can touch those words, and especially in Arabic, when you can understand Arabic, please, when I came here, I was 9 years old. I was reading, writing, it was normal for me. I was about 23, 24, and I forgot everything by that time. Then I decided to just go back and just redo everything. I went back and I took Nahu, I took Sarf, I took Tajweed. And I couldn't, guys, I swear to you, I couldn't find the teacher. I couldn't, like back then it was so difficult. I couldn't find a teacher to help me. And I went and got a book and I started by myself. I didn't even know I knew the letters and I knew stuff like that, but it was very simple things that I knew. But I wouldn't quit. I just I literally had lost everything. And I started back up again. And I tried and I tried and I tried 6 months by myself. And I said, Ya Allah, please help me. Just send me a teacher. This is too difficult. And I swear to you, like 2 days later, someone just out of nowhere, just came out of nowhere. And I had asked so many people, but nobody had the time. And then just out of nowhere, I get a person. Then I got taught by some of the best, like one of the most incredible scholars in terms of Tajweed, Nahu, and Sarf. And I'm so grateful. I spent 2.5 years with him in terms of just studying these things. And I'm so grateful for that. I'm so grateful that he took his time. It took us 2 days a week. 55 of us started and 4 of us finished. So I'm so grateful in terms of these kinds of things. Allah will send you what you need. Just make that intention in your heart. He will give you what you need. And just purify that as much as possible and let go. There's nothing you could do after that. So at-ta'zeem, Allah's greatness. Al-hayba is something so beautiful. And it's to have a sense of awe when you're standing in front of Allah Azza wa Jal. And Imam Ali alayhi salam, he was known to stand in his prayer niche and stroke his beard. And once one of his companions in the middle of the night went to him and he saw him in his prayer niche. And he was saying to himself, he says, how long is the journey? And how little provisions do I have for it? And he's talking to Allah. Learn how to do that. Your heart is made for that. Where you feel a sense of awe. When you go into sujood, you're like, wow, you've created all this, including me as a person. You've given me my thought process. You've given me these things as a person. What can I do with that? Ya Allah, I'm here in front of you, and talk in those manners, but feel the sense of awe that I can even speak to you right now. And we're amazed by the internet. But do you realize the internet between mind to mind that was already created by Allah? And in terms of this, the verbal aspects, so I can circumulate my tongue, and it's transmitted wirelessly to your ear, goes inside your head to a dictionary of words, and you understand what I'm saying. Do you realize the power that you've already been constructed with? So we get mesmerized by the internet, but we don't get mesmerized by the things that Allah has created. When you look at a bird, we get mesmerized by planes. Sometimes when you look up, you're like, wow. But do you look at a bird and say, Subhanallah, Subhanallah, Subhanal Khaliq, like the one who's created? Or you look at a spider creating its web, or you look at a baby when it starts babbling its first words. Like, who taught it how to do that? Who put those mechanisms into place? That should just blow your mind. It's astonishing. It's astonishing. When you look at the complexity of the world, it should give you one simple idea. Who created it? Who put this all together? Who? That should hit your heart so hard that you should almost stop breathing for a second. Because if you just understand the power of that, you should go into a state of just humbleness. Why? Like, you have ulama at the highest level, and they sign they sign their names, Al-Haqir, the stupid one, because they realize they know nothing in terms of at the end. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he says, when a person first learns something, they become arrogant and haughty. And when they learn more, they become what? Humble. And the third stage is when they learn even more, they realize that they know nothing at all. They realize how ignorant they are. That's wisdom. Knowing how much you don't know is actually wisdom. That's incredible. So compare your knowledge to Allah's knowledge. Fir'aun compared himself and he says, Lastu bi rabbikum al-a'la. Am I not your highest Lord? Look how much arrogance man can gain because he thinks he's in control. Allah showed him that you're nothing. Now I'll leave you as a sign, and he's still in museums today for mankind. Allah's mercy and love is what we want, not his wrath. You realize his honest, it's incredible what happens to you. So let's take a look at what Imam Ali alayhi salam says. This is a beautiful hadith, guys, in terms of knowing Allah. Okay, in Nahj al-Balagha, he talks about this. He says, "O people, fear Allah, who is such that when you speak, okay, he hears you." So when you speak, understand he hears you. Look at the way Imam Ali is describing this. And what you conceal, okay, like a secret, he knows it. Okay, he knows it. So whatever is in your heart, you're bare. Talk to Allah like you're bare. So he knows your secrets on the inside. When he speaks, when you speak to the outside, he knows it. When you hide something on the inside, he knows it. He's on the outside and the inside. Okay, prepare yourself to meet death. Now he's talking about that journey. And when you are like preparing yourself, life is a preparation for that moment. When some people, they die and they don't have a chance to close their eyes. They die with their eyes open. That's how fast death will take you. They die with their mouth open sometimes. And I'm going to tell you guys one thing, and if you could do it, and if you can bear that concept, and if you can wash a dead body, I've had the privilege to do that. And it just really takes you to another level. I recommend, if your heart can handle it, I would recommend that you do it. And which will and it says, prepare yourself for death, which will overtake you, even if you run away from it. You cannot run away from death. It's going to come. Imam Ali alayhi salam was asked if a person is jailed in a house and they can't get out, how will their sustenance reach them? Imam Ali alayhi salam answers beautifully. And he says, their sustenance will reach them the same way death will reach them. It's guaranteed. But we worry so much about money and losses. These are just trials. Pass them in the best way. So even if you run away from it, it's going to catch you. But please listen to the next phrase. He says what? Catch you even if you were, run away. Catch you even if you stay and remember this. And remember you even if what? You forget it. Death is always thinking about you. You are heedless of it, but it's always thinking about you. So on that day, I'm just telling you, in terms of the first 2 points, have that honest to Allah. Have that, just understand He's on the inside, He's on the outside. He's right there. When you start thinking of His power like that, that no matter where I go, what I do, no matter what is happening around me, you see me. You see what's going on the outside and on the inside. Al-Hayba. That's another level where if you think about these levels as you're praying, that's what you're supposed to do. So number 6, or number 5 is ar-raja, okay? A sense of hope of getting better. Now there's 2 types of people, guys. I want you to think about this, okay? The sinner is of 2 types, okay? So let's say I've done the wrong things. You need what? You need hope. You need ar-raja. You need to feel like, okay, you know what? I have hope to go back towards Allah. وَإِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِي عَنِّي فَإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ. We mention these things. We feel we betrayed ourselves so badly. And we talked about a death. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا وَقَدْ خَابَ مَنْ دَسَّاهَا. That I betrayed myself. I've fooled myself, okay, when I commit the sin. Now, I need to have that sense of hope. There's 2 types. So there's 2 types of people. Okay, type 1 is the person, now really pay attention to this. They take the sin lightly. The person, when they commit the sin, they don't, it's like Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he says, when a munafiq sins, when a person who takes the sin lightly and doesn't care, it's like a fly that lands on their nose and they just push it away. That's how they take the sin. They don't care. And if a person who is a mu'min commits a sin, it's like it's like a mountain is on their shoulders. They feel the weight of it. They feel the remorse. And then they cry and they relieve themselves in terms of that guilt, but they put their responsibility on Allah, and Allah will respond to you. That remorsefulness is key in terms of that. Now watch what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam says. The Prophet Muhammad says, alayhi salam, he says, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he says, worship Allah as if you see Him. Watch this. Worship Allah as if you see Him, because you need to understand that. And if you do not see Him, then know that you have what? That He sees you. And if you do understand that He sees you, now you do understand. Okay, if you don't see Him, He sees you. That's the first level. Now, let's say you understand that He sees you. You know Allah is looking at you, okay? And you understand that He sees you, then you have sinned. If you are still that, then you have sinned. That's incredible in terms of understanding that, okay? And no, I'll repeat that. And no, if you do not see Him, then He sees you. That's the first level. And if you do understand that He sees you, then you have sinned. What in terms of, and if you understand that He does see you and you still commit the sin, then what? Realize you made Him the least of seers in terms of looking at you. So if someone was to stand, like your mother or father, someone anywhere within the community, anyone within the community, you would not commit the sin. But in front of Allah, you would commit the sin. Think about that as well. So now that's number one. Level two, Imam Hassan now, alayhi salam. Imam Hassan, when he would walk, when he would be about to do wudu, people would look at him and they say, what's wrong with you? And his color would change. And he would say to them, he goes, do you know who I'm about to stand in front of? It's that hope that I have with Allah, that I'm going back to you. Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. I'm going back to you, Allah. And I'm hopeful in my return. That Imam Hassan alayhi salam would stand at the foot of the mosque, and he would start, and he would, they say that he would have his head down, and he would say, Ya muhsinu qad ataka al-musib, anta al-muhsinu wa ana al-musib, fatajawaz an qabihi ma ta'lamu minni, ya dhal jalali wal ikram. Says, oh, who's what? Anta al-muhsin, you are the giver, you are the goodness, you are, and I'm what? The sinner. And you, anta al-muhsinu wa ana al-musib. Fatajawaz, and forgive, fatajawaz an qabihi ma ta'lamu minni, and forgive of the things that you know about me, that I have done. Ya dhal jalali wal ikram. Oh, the one who's what? Who's glorified and dignified. So on that level, guys, just understand, when your heart can touch these things, we need hope. You need to be, in terms of Allah, you need to be in Allah's hands, and know whatever problem, like we talked about before, place it in Allah's hands. Place it there. See it, understand it, and then connect to Allah Azza wa Jal. He's the one that's going to relieve you. Nothing else in this world, trust me. People who come to you are from Him. Doctor who does surgery on someone, it's all about what Allah wants at the end of the day. No one can remove that. In the Quran it says, if He wills something, no one can stop it. So don't worry. Have that in your heart where just, alhamdulillah, whatever ma asabana, whatever has been come upon us, okay, that's what Allah has written for us. Alhamdulillah. Ar-Raja. Number 6, shamefulness. Guys, to maintain a sense of shame in front of Allah, in comparison to Allah's greatness, we see ourselves insignificant. But that sense of shame in terms of who we are, there are what types of shame, okay? And I'm going to tell you what they are. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he says, al-haya'u hay'ain, al-haya'u al-haqiqi, wal-haya'u al-humuqi. Really think about this. So listen what he says. He says, al-haya'u hay'ain. So shamefulness is of two things, okay? A shamefulness that is truthful, and that is the truth, which is feeling that shame from Allah. Feeling the shame that, you know what, I shouldn't, starting to feel shame that I shouldn't go out without my scarf. Starting to feel shame that, you know what, I'm going to cover myself more. Starting to feel shame that maybe I'm going to take off some of my makeup. Starting to feel shame that, you know what, for the guys, that I'm going to not wear tight shirts. Starting to feel shame that, you know what, I'm about to look at this girl in a negative way. I look away and I say, no way, I'm not going to do that. Starting to feel shame when I'm in front of a computer, I'm by myself. And guys, there's a lot of problems I see there across the board. And I'm going to tell you, just 47% of divorces now have been attributed to just computers and guys. And I'm not going to go any further. Okay, you guys can figure out the rest. 47%. And you should see the diseases from 18 to 24, mental diseases, okay, in terms of certain performance issues, in terms of certain factors. And I'm going to go out and I'm just going to be here brave and I'm just going to say this. But just understand, if you're watching right now, you're destroying your mind. You are. It's like whenever you're in front of by yourself and you're doing this stuff, understand that there's a shot of cocaine in your brain. Literally, that's what you're doing to yourself. So I'm not going to talk about any further in this. I know some some youth may be watching, so I'm not going to go any further, but I'm just preparing people because this is the reality that's happening. There's a destructive factor. There's a war psychologically, and you need to understand that. You do. It will harm you to the day of judgment. Trust me, these things are not light. Don't take them lightly. And they're being portrayed now that it's okay and it's fine to do these things. And so there's no shame. You're losing your humanity. You're losing who you are as a person. The sense of dignity, honor, respect, you're losing all that. It destroys your confidence. And just the days after, it's incredible what happens in terms of the psychological factors within these things. If you're a parent and you're watching, please keep your kids away from these kinds of things. Protect them. But it's so hard now. Why? Because you have just the access is so easy. It's right in your fingertips. That sin is a second away, like literally it's a fingertip away. Just understand that. So I don't want to go any further into that. I just needed to kind of just put that message out there. Now, shamefulness is of two types. Be shameful in the things we just talked about and pull yourself back off. أَنِ بِاسْتَحِي مِنْ اللَّهِ. You're going to see what Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what he says about shamefulness in a second. Bistahi. I can't even like when we go, like I'm not going to, there's another hadith, but it's going to be way too long. But Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he says this, there's another type of shamefulness, which is the shamefulness of stupidity. This is where I'm supposed to be I'm in a class and I'm supposed to ask a question about knowledge, but I feel ashamed. No, don't do that. There's a bunch of people around, and if I get up and I pray, I'm going to feel like they're going to judge me. No, don't do that. Don't be ashamed at these levels. Imam Ali alayhi salam, he says, when wisdom is being exchanged, speak so you may be known. Don't be ashamed. Don't be bashful. Don't be fearful. Okay, speak so you may be known. Otherwise, stay silent like the ignorant. So there's a sense of shame that you need to get over. You need to push through. That's the shamefulness of stupidity. Don't do that. Okay? Now, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to stand at night and pray to such a point that it says, meaning he would just have this flow of, he would get so kind, merciful in his heart. Okay, and he would stand so long that his feet would swell. Imagine standing in the middle of the night, and imagine Rasulullah when he was older, and he would still do this. Again, just imagine, guys, the character. Forget about, just imagine Rasulullah's character. Imagine that he would visit you right now, and he would knock on your door, and he would just and you open the door and you see him, and he says, "Assalamu alaikum." What would you do? Like, seriously, what would you do? What would you ask him? You see that sense of awe? That's how you should feel towards Allah, that haiba. But why? It's because of his character. It's because of what he has on the inside. And listen to what he says. He says, they say to him, why do you do this, Ya Rasulullah? He says, Inni astahi min Rabbi. I feel shameful because he's given me so much. I'm ashamed from Allah that I have to do that. This is the least I can do. And he would stand in the middle of the night. And Salatul Layl was wajib on Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It was wajib, meaning he had to do it. Me and you sleep throughout the night, and sometimes, unfortunately, we don't wake up for morning prayer. We don't. We miss it, and especially these nights. We can't wake up because we stay up so long. And if we stay up, we don't read dua, we don't do these things, we don't listen to these lectures, we don't do stuff like that. Tonight, before you sleep, just read 1 verse, 2 verses, 3 verses, okay? But even just sit down and just talk to Allah. Use these nights. The heavens are open. These are your, and especially Layat al-Qadr are coming. This is what you want. That's what you need. So on that level, al-haya. And there's different types of haya. I don't want to just tell you just one type. There's different types. Now, the last one is al-ikhlas. Having sincerity and a pure intention to who? Allah Azza wa Jal. Imam Ali alayhi salam, he says, forgive me for the sins. And Imam Ali doesn't need that. He's just teaching us. He says, forgive me for the sins that I have sought your face. I've sought closeness to you. I've wanted to be in your presence. But other things have crept into my intentions and diverted me otherwise. They've moved me away from you. So our intention can be mixed sometimes. We don't know. Check your intention. Check it. Look at it. That book that I gave you, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, right here, Difficult Conversations. Okay, this talks about intentions heavily, incredible book, guys. Incredible. I learned so much. I've read this thing and I've actually taught it as a class. Okay, I've read this thing at least 30 times. This is like a manual for thinking. Get this book. It will tremendously help you. 3 scientists, countless hours of study, 15 years they put into this book, 15 years into that, okay? And then they give it to you what? That's 15 years worth of life for 3 people. That's 45 years. Understand that. 45 years of life in that book. It's a manual for thinking. Get this thing. It's incredible in terms of the way it will change you. Now, al-ikhlas. Your intention is everything. Now, قال Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi al-a'malu bin-niyat. Okay, your true what? Works is here. It's just purifying your intention. And in the Quran it says, you will what? Just for what you intended. You will be facing for what you intended. So that intention is everything. Guys, please listen to this. Please. If you have not taken anything from this conversation, please take this. If you just take this concept, this will change you as a person. And I'm going to show you the truth and how it works and how powerful it is. Your intention, when you purify it in the second, it will protect you from guilt in your future. I'm going to repeat that. Your intention is your protection. When you purify it, is your protection of what's going to happen in the future in terms of the guilt. When your intention is pure, and when things go wrong in the future, let's say I intend something, there's a very strong challenge, and I purify my heart. I'm not greedy, I'm not selfish. And I check my intention and I go deep and I say, Ya Allah, I'm here. And I go deeper, then I see Allah in terms of what I'm doing. And I say, Ya Allah, I'm going to follow what you want. And I bring that voice to the top and I speak and I don't care. And because I'm speaking from my heart, it's coming from here. Then wisdom follows. Where Imam Ali alayhi salam says, wisdom is a tree that sprouts in the heart and its fruits manifest on your tongue. And now when you speak, you're so lofty. You don't care. There's no fear. You're not tripping up on your words. You're calm. You're collected. You say every word with precision. That's incredible. And when that happens, and you have ikhlas in your heart, then after the situation unravels, and things go wrong, you can always go back to your intention and say, I have peace because I know my intention. You're looking at me in the situation the wrong way, but I know what I have on the inside. That truth becomes your protection and your treasure for your own psychological and emotional health. Truth is everything. It's everything for your own protection. When you understand that, it's incredible what intentions are. Your intentions are your protector for future consequences, which cause future guilt if you don't what? Purify it. And if you don't purify it and it's selfish, the guilt will hit later on. And guess what? When you have gone astray and your intention was not pure, and now the consequences hit, now the guilt hits. And guilt has a way of making you feel so bad because it's self-hate. Now, when that happens, the only way, there's two ways of removing that guilt when you're like that. You either become truthful, go back to the truth, which you have to go back to the truth, regardless. And if you don't, and you still continue, Allah is going to pull out the truth at the end. Why? Because of this. وَحُصِّلَ مَا فِي الصُّدُورِ. It's going to come out. Guys, the truth is all over you. It's on your forehead. It's on your body. Everything will speak the truth. Your body will speak the truth. Your skin will speak the truth. Everything will speak the truth. It's coming, whether you like it or not. Get used to saying it. It's your freedom. It's freeing. It's everything in your heart. Trust me, it's your protector. It's everything. Now, when you do that and you learn that I need to go back to the truth and I become truthful, and now I speak the truth, then my intention, what, is everything. But what we do when the guilt hits is we lie to ourselves, meaning I've committed the sin. My intention was wrong, okay? It was evil. It had something wrong. It was mixed. There was something wrong with my intention. The combination happens, and my intention mixes with the challenge. When the challenge beats me, I beat the challenge, I still have to answer for my intention. Let's say it was evil. There's two ways we said. First way, to remove the guilt, which is self-hate, is to lie to ourselves. So you have to keep going further into what? That lie. You have to keep going. And you have to lie to who? Who? Who do you have to lie to now? Me. I have to lie to myself. I have to convince myself, because that's the only way the guilt is removed. وَحُصِّلَ مَا فِي الصُّدُورِ. Now the truth will come out, regardless, as we said. But you have another option, is to admit, وَحُصِّلَ مَا فِي الصُّدُورِ. Admit what's in your heart. Admit what the intention is, and go back to Allah and say, like Imam Ali said, okay, أَتَيْتُكَ يَا رَبِّي, I've come to you, O Allah. Admitting the truth. I'm admitting what happened. Okay, I know I did something wrong. Again, the truth. Admitting, broken. Go into that stage and let your tears touch your heart. When that happens, that also removes the guilt. But that's removing the guilt through what Allah wants. He wants you to go back to Him to remove the guilt. Go back into submission to Him when you remove the guilt. Feel the remorse of the sin. Okay, go back to Him to remove the guilt. Balance your emotions through what Allah wants, not through what you want and lying. That's incredible. Now, last thing, guys, is this. When we judge others' intentions, okay, this is in your salah I'm talking about in terms of ikhlas towards Allah. But when we judge intentions of others, I just want you, I'm going to leave you with this thought. When we judge other people, I want you to think of your own intention, which is sometimes so difficult to know because it can be mixed with a million different things. And guys, our subconscious mind is wired to do certain things that sometimes our intentions are so mixed that we don't even know them. You don't even know your own intention. That, you know what? I wanted to sell you this. It was for you, but it's also for me. I wanted that sale. Where's your intention? Judge it. Say it was 70% for you, 30% for me. When I pray to Allah, am I praying because He's worth it? Or am I praying because I'm afraid of His hellfire? Or I want His reward in terms of heaven? Be honest with yourself. Right there, your heart can split into three. Ya Allah, I love you and you are worth it. That's about 30%. I want your heaven, 60%. That's what my heart is really, that's the stage of my heart. And Afraid of your hell? No, I'm doing really well. 10%. My intention is mixed. Learn these things about yourself. Don't just trust your emotions and just think, oh, okay, just because I feel it's true. Check them. Check your intention. Check what's underneath even that, and you'll find a treasure. Now, if it's that hard to judge our own intentions, I just want to ask you one question, and I'll leave you with this and let you ponder on it. If it's hard to understand our own intentions and to actually know what they are, how hard is it to really judge someone else's intention when we're not inside of them and know what's going on with their pressures and pains and the complexities of their thoughts and emotions? I'm not telling you not to be naive. I'm not telling you to be naive and just trust. That's not what I'm saying. That you need to be wise. But I just want you to understand that judge each other with a merciful heart. You can be precautious and merciful. You can be precautious and you can do all these things. So guys, at the end of the day, let's do that the right way. Let's look at each other. And I want, if you could do this, and I ask you for your prayers tonight, and I ask you to pray for my mom as well. But tonight, as you're in, let's say you do Salatul Layl, and whoever's listening to this, whoever's on here, try to wake up, or right after this, in terms of a little bit after midnight, try to get up and just do Rakatain and Salatul Watr. And just do the three, that's it. And pray, and just pray. Let's make a promise for yourself tonight that you're gonna get up and just do that. And just let's move on that as people. Let's not judge each other's intention. We can have a hierarchy of assumptions, but check our assumptions before we jump to conclusions. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.